So before you plan next year, I want you to first stop and I want you to do something because we have officially reached that time of the year where we are being proactive, if I can say that, where we are thinking already about next year, the thing that we want to see in our lives, the people that we want to become, or the things that we want to achieve. And this is beautiful to be proactive and to already start thinking about next year because we are already in mid-December. So you're thinking already about what you want to accomplish. But in today's episode, I want you first to stop, stop planning next year. I'm not saying you will not plan next year, but I want you to do something before you start planning 2026, before you start planning next year. What I want you to do is to genuinely take time to review 2025. And I don't know, maybe it was messy, but I don't want you to rush directly into next year. I want you to honor God for the year that is ending or for the year that has ended. I want you to genuinely take time to thank God, because end of the year prayers and planning, they are good. But before you write your goals, I want you to first stop and I want you to give thanks to God. Whether you achieved 100% of what you wanted to achieve in 2025, or even 50%, or even if it's 10%, or listen, even if it's 0% of what you wanted to achieve, or even minus 20, I want you to just stop and to begin to thank God. And this is why, because thanksgiving is not a reward. Thanking God is not a reward for a successful year, but it's a recognition that thus far God has carried you. And let me explain this to you. When you are being grateful to God, you are not just being grateful to God because you saw the things that you wanted to see, because you achieved the things that you wanted to achieve, but you are thankful to God because He carried you, because you're still here, because you're still looking at me, you're still listening to me, because you're still breathing, because you still have life. So I'm not saying you should be grateful to God for 2025 because you achieved everything. No, I want you to stop and thank Him first for the simple fact that you're still here. Because gratitude is spiritual alignment. It puts your heart back in the truth of God's love for you. Because you might have experienced hard and difficult thing this year, and genuinely all of us. Maybe you lost someone you love. I lost my grandma. Maybe you lost some investment. You lost money. You didn't see the things that you wanted to achieve. But when I'm asking you to stop and thank God, it's not because you achieved everything you wanted to achieve. It's not because this year was beautiful, but it's simply because you're still here. You're still here. Because the fact that you are alive is a prophetic statement that God is not done with you. The simple fact that you are alive, that you are still alive, that you can breathe, that you are listening to me right now, it's a prophetic statement that God is not done with you. The scripture says in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 4, that for whoever is joined with all the living, there is hope. And it says, a living dog is better than a dead lion. So if you are breathing, that means there is still hope for you. If you are breathing, that means there is still purpose for you. If you are breathing, that means God still has a plan for you. So the reason why I'm asking you to thank God, it's not because you achieved everything, but it's because God still has a plan for your life. He said that for every living being, for everyone who is joined with the living, there is hope. If you're not dead, if you're still alive, that means there is still hope for you. And listen to me, even if this year looked messy, this year looked painful, or I would say even behind the schedule, because you did not achieve the thing that you wanted to achieve, your life, the simple fact that you're still alive, is a proof that heaven hasn't closed the book of your life. The simple fact that you're still alive, It means that God is not done with you yet. God is not done writing the story of your life. Yes, 2025 might have been painful. It might have been messy. Maybe you did not achieve the things that you wanted to achieve. But again, if you're still alive, as I said, it's a prophetic statement that God is not done with you. You don't thank God only for what you achieved, but you thank God because you're still here. You thank God because He kept you alive and He has a purpose for you. Some might say, but He kept me alive and I'm still suffering. He is writing the story of your life. And maybe along the way, there are things that you learned as lessons. Take those lessons. Build your life on it. Thank Him first for those lessons and build your life on it. And another thing that I want you to do, and this is very important, choose what I call the Habakkuk praise. And I'm going to explain what I mean by the Habakkuk praise. Because when you understand the life of Habakkuk, what he says in Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 17 to verse 18, what it actually shows to us is that worship or praise does not depend on the results that we are getting. Because Habakkuk said that though the fig tree does not blossom, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. When you read those two verses, because they are very long, when you read those two verses, Habakkuk is literally saying that even if I did not see the thing that I wanted to see, even if I did not accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. No matter what is happening in my life, I will thank my God. I will rejoice in my God. And that is my true faith, because praise does not depend on perfect conditions. You are not praising God because the conditions are perfect, because things around you are working the way you expect them to work. But you are thanking God because you believe that no matter what is happening around you, God still loves you. God still has a plan for you. You are not letting the circumstances around you define the God that you serve, but you know that your God can change the circumstances around you. So here's a simple challenge that I want you to do before you start next year. Because, most of the time we take a retreat because we want to see God's direction for next year. What I want you to do is take maybe one day off, or one day, maybe you are fasting. Take one day where you are just thanking God. If it's 2 days, it's 2 days. If it's 3 days, it's 3 days. But take just a day where you are saying to God, Lord, thank you for carrying me. Maybe I did not see the things that I wanted to see. Maybe I did not achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. But thank you for carrying me. Maybe I lost people along the way. But thank you. Take a day, take a substantial amount of time to just thank God. Because Thanksgiving does these three things. It shifts your focus, it increases your awareness of God's presence, and it prepares your spirit to enter the next season with faith and not anxiety. So I want you to change the way you see this year, no matter what happened to you. And as a closing line, I want you to say this to yourself. Before I pray for new doors for next year, I'm going to thank God that I'm still standing at the end of this year. Because if I'm alive, God is not done. And if God is not done, then my story is not over. So this is what I want you to say to yourself. Your story is not over. If you're still alive, there's still hope for you. So take time to genuinely thank God, because He has great plans for your life. And if you're still alive, that means there's still hope. God bless you, and I'm going to see you again next time. Bye-bye.